If I could sum up Survivor Series 2016 in one word, inconsistent. Because honestly, the first 4 matches of the show really underwhelmed. The 5-on-5 men's tag team match is what actually started to kickstart the show. And then the main event just made the show, and I'm not lying when I say this, it made the show even better. And it made me want to go back and watch. Because honestly, the finish of the main event of Survivor Series 2016 between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, it worked. And it worked in a variety of different ways. And I'm going to touch base on them momentarily. But what Survivor Series 2016 did, and especially what Brock versus Goldberg did, it made me interested. I went into this pay-per-view with no interest in the main event of Survivor Series, Goldberg versus Lesnar Part 2. I was just not interested at all. I didn't care at all. I didn't want to see it, especially after their first meeting 12 years before. I didn't want to see it at all. And what they did in the main event made me want to see it. It made me interested. It made me emotionally invested. And it made me, believe it or not, want to see where this goes in the future. It made me want to see a third match. When I didn't even want to see a second match, now I want to see a third match. And that's all because of what they decided to do with the finish of this Brock versus Goldberg match. This match made me care. This match made me think a little bit. And it made me ask the question, what happens next? Or, in the case of Goldberg, who's next? Or what's next? Because honestly, there really is only one option with the both of them from where you go on from here. And I'll get to that momentarily. But let me just address some key points about Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. This really doesn't have anything to do with this match. I just threw this point on just for the hell of it. Number one, drawing power. It astounds me how much people continuously think that Brock Lesnar is the main draw of the WWE. I will look you in your face and say that you are wrong. No one man, especially in today's WWE, is bigger than the company. That includes Brock Lesnar. That includes people like The Undertaker and Triple H and John Cena. No one man is bigger than the company. And Brock Lesnar is definitely not the main draw. Because without Brock Lesnar, WWE is still selling out shows. They're still selling merch. They're still getting network subscriptions. That's without him. Is he helping the cause? Yes. Is it a long-term help? No. It's basically, you get one show, you get a couple more ratings, and that's it. That's not a help. That's not a draw. That's not anything of any sort of substance. Brock Lesnar is not the main draw of the WWE. The WWE is the main draw of WWE, especially when it comes to WrestleMania. Because tickets for WrestleMania go out in November. In fact, they went out a few short days ago in Orlando. You don't know what the main event of WrestleMania is going to be. You don't know what the key matches of WrestleMania are going to be. You don't know what wrestlers are going to be on the Mania card. You don't know who's going into the WWE Hall of Fame in November. And yet people still line up, and people still head to their computers, and they buy tickets because it's WrestleMania, because it's the WWE. It doesn't matter. Brock Lesnar is not the draw. The company is the draw. Get it through your head. Get it through your skulls. Get it inside your minds. That's the reality. Number 2, credibility. A lot of people are saying that this match, this one loss in 3 years, is going to damage Brock Lesnar's credibility as a performer. No, it's not. Everyone loses. Whether you're a wrestler or a sports team, or even if you're playing a game of freaking checkers, everyone loses. And it doesn't matter how, in what way, at what event, in what kind of match, against whatever opponent. Everyone loses. And in Brock Lesnar's case, he's lost one match via pinfall in 3 years. How is that going to damage his credibility? When, mind you, he's already the steroided freak that got suspended from UFC and got no sort of punishment from WWE. But one loss is going to damage his credibility? Please. You also look at a Brock Lesnar who went into WrestleMania 20 without a care in the world, went into WrestleMania 32 without a care in the world, went into SummerSlam 2016 without a care in the world. He didn't care if people got hurt. All he cared about was that he got a paycheck. But this one loss is going to damage his credibility? Please. Number 3, you look at some of the great sports teams. Over the past several years, the 2007 New England Patriots are the first team that comes to mind. They went into the season, they went through the season undefeated. They went to the Super Bowl, they faced the New York Giants, they lost. Fast forward a couple years later, New England Patriots once again dominate the entire season. The New York Giants managed to squeak into the playoffs. They both managed to go to the Super Bowl again. The Patriots lost. There are certain teams that other teams just cannot beat. And in the Patriots' case, you can beat the Giants in the regular season, but when you go to the playoffs, Patriots cannot beat the New York Giants. That's the reality. You look here, Goldberg is now 2-0 against Brock Lesnar. What if you turn Goldberg into the one guy that Brock Lesnar just can't beat? It adds another element to this story. It adds another element to this feud. And it allows the feud to go on. Why stop here when you can go to the Royal Rumble, go to WrestleMania, have the one big blow-off match where Brock gets the victory after trying 2 times unsuccessfully? Why not? Every team loses. Not a lot of athletes get to be a world champion, a World Series champion, or a Super Bowl champion, or a Stanley Cup champion, or an NBA champion, or a freaking Masters champion, or an Australian Open champion, or an American Open champion, whatever. Not everybody can win the World Series of poker. Not everyone can win a game of ping pong. Everyone loses. Brock Lesnar losing one match will not hurt. Number 4, like I referenced a little bit earlier, storytelling. This could be the start, the continuation, of a story, of a feud, in a time in professional wrestling where storytelling is non-existent. This could be a really good story going forward. Like I said, you can have Goldberg be the guy that Brock just can't beat. And Brock can appear on Raw every freaking week or every other week or whatever and just completely dismantle everybody on the roster until he got the one more match against Goldberg. It's a good storytelling element. Or hell, you can even have Goldberg enter the Royal Rumble and have Brock Lesnar eliminate him or cost him the match, or vice versa. Although it would work a lot better if it was Brock costing Goldberg. So many things can work about this. And the storytelling aspect of this entire feud, especially now, can work. And the last point I have to make, number 5, this isn't a slap in the face to The Undertaker. This is a wake-up call to the entire WWE roster. Because honestly, the only reason why Goldberg was even brought in the first place is because who realistically is going to face Brock Lesnar? And that's a blame on the WWE that puts blame on the performers themselves. Who realistically can step up, step into the face of Brock Lesnar, and beat him? Nobody. Because they've been misbooked, they've been mistreated, honestly, they've played second fiddle to Brock Lesnar, the part-timer, because what they do isn't good. You all hate Roman Reigns so much. You know? Well, now, with what you've done with Roman Reigns, how can he face Brock Lesnar? How can Seth Rollins face Brock Lesnar? How can Kevin Owens face Brock Lesnar? Honestly, this is a wake-up call to the entire WWE roster. Goldberg was brought in this spot because none of you are worthy of it. Who on this roster is worthy of this spot? No one. And you can't argue with me on this because you know it's the truth. They're treating this like it's a B show. The WWE is treating this like it's irrelevant. Or treating all of their performers exactly the same, putting them in the same style of matches. The wrestlers themselves are performing the same styles. Nothing pops. Nothing is, nothing catches the eye immediately. Everything is the same. There's no development. There's no growth. There's no storytelling. It's just a bunch of spots, and it's a bunch of no-selling. It's a bunch of nothing. That's the reality. It's not a slap into the face of The Undertaker. It's a slap in the face to the entire WWE roster, and it's a much-needed wake-up call. Get better. WWE, get them better. Put them in better spots. Tell better stories. Perform better matches. Be better wrestlers. That's why Goldberg was put into the spot to begin with. And for all of you that say that this spot should have gone to somebody new, somebody up and coming, somebody who can really use the push, honestly, again, who are you going to put in the spot? Bray Wyatt? Look at all the crap they've done with him. Dean Ambrose? He had his chance. Bray had his chance too. Roman had his chance. Seth had his chance. You're going to put Owens in that spot? Look at how Owens has been in the past couple months. He's the second-tier world champion. Sorry. AJ Styles is right now, and I love Kevin Owens. AJ Styles is the better champion. Are you going to put AJ Styles in that spot? I think he's the only one that's close enough. But again, this is WWE not knowing what to do with them, and this is the performers themselves underperforming in the big spots. That's the wake-up call that they need. Get better. And you're going to get put in the spot if you get better. So, I've come to the conclusion that this match, this finish, this spot worked. It can work for the short term, could work for the long term. It shows that Brock Lesnar is vulnerable. It shows that he's not indestructible. It shows that he's human. It shows that Goldberg possibly is the one guy that Brock Lesnar just cannot beat. And it makes sense for a storyline. and it's good storytelling in a time where storytelling just sucks. So let this be a good thing. Let this lead to a third match. Let this lead to something bigger, to something better, to something good. And then I'll be even more happy. And I bet that a lot of you will too.